Well, another public figure who does not hide what he's thinking, of course, our Vice President Joe Biden. Yesterday, he slammed one of America's busiest airports during a speech he gave about improving America's infrastructure. Listen.
If I blindfolded someone and took him at 2 o'clock in the morning into the airport in Hong Kong and said, "Where do you think you are?" They say, "This must be America. It's a modern airport." If I took him blindfolded and took to the LaGuardia Airport in New York, you must think I must be in some third world country. No, I'm not joking.
No, he was not. How bad are our airports? What must be done? What's it going to cost? Who's going to pay? Alex Washburn is New York City's former urban design chief. He's a professor now at Stevens Institute of Technology here in New Jersey, meaning you didn't have to cross a bridge to get here, which is a good thing. It's not just about airports. It is about bridges. It's about highways. It's about the electric grid. I mean, there's an infrastructure problem in this country, isn't there?
There certainly is an infrastructure problem. It's an absolute waste of our productivity and our ability to achieve more than we are.
Why is that? It's not sexy for a politician to want to devote more funds to rebuilding infrastructure? You don't get as much of a pop at the ballot box, or what?
It's not just funds. It's a mixture of politics, finance, and design. You got to bring all those three into alignment. And that's very hard for a politician to do, because you can score points for stopping something. And this is a tradition that we've had now in this country, basically ever since we finished our highways,
right? The famous bridge to nowhere that they stopped funding a few years ago.
Right. But all these are part of a system. And you have to have an attitude that every generation makes the system better. Anytime one generation drops the ball, we get a state of entropy. And we've been in that state of entropy.
And it only gets more expensive the longer you wait, right?
Far more expensive in the long run, dangerous in the short run.
What's the answer? Do you have an answer? Is there an answer? How much would it cost? Where do we start? What needs the most work?
Well, look, the American Society of Civil Engineers has their report card they put out on America's infrastructure. It talks about $3.5 trillion or so almost of work to be done. That's a complete menu. I want to change an attitude. I want politicians to realize they have a responsibility to the next generation, and to do things that are maybe difficult for them politically, but to go out on a limb and say that we need more and better infrastructure, and we're going to pay for it. We're not going to avoid the bill.
I got a way that they could angle it. It creates jobs.
It does create jobs. It does create jobs. It is, though, you know, government is not the great job creator in this country, nor should it be.
But I think back to the 1930s when Franklin Roosevelt used that strategy to create jobs during the Great Depression. You had the WPA, where they were building infrastructure in this country at that time. Is that some way we might think about a strategy at this time?
You know, I think the way we think about strategy at this time, it's not just government, it's also private sector. And you know what my best example, the biggest success in that has been the last decade? It's been under Mayor Bloomberg, back in New York City, the High Line and the West Chelsea neighborhood. Now, let's not talking about how pretty it is. I'm talking about how the government spent $100 million to change that railroad into a park. That sparked the transformation of a neighborhood with $3 billion private and counting. It's leverage, leverage.
And it is a great place to visit, by the way, if you're coming to New York City anytime soon. It's become a great tourist location. Alex Washburn, thanks very much.